this and we'll do a Q&A at the end. So let's get it, guys. So this is how to actually track your macros the right way. Stop guessing, start getting results. Right, all of you are pretty solid with your macros, but this is going to be, I guess, a reminder for some of you, but also just it might answer some of the questions maybe you didn't even know you had. Right, maybe you've been tracking your food and you're like, this is like taking it one step further. Right, even when we master something, we could always improve. So step one is obviously use a food scale. Right, all of you should be using a food scale. If not, we have an issue because then you're probably guessing, and guessing isn't going to get us results. So you can obviously weigh your food in ounces, grams, or use measuring cups. I prefer ounces. There's a lot of people out there who use grams. I usually use ounces unless the packaging tells me grams when I weigh out my food, and measuring cups will be your best friend for a lot of different foods, whether it be a tablespoon, full cup, half cup, you get the idea. Now, cooked versus raw. I prefer cooking my food and then weighing it out, right? So I know a lot of people ask that, but we always want to obviously weigh it out after it's cooked so we know how much we're actually having. Because before you cook it, it might say 6 ounces, but when you cook it, it's 5 ounces. So we always want to weigh it out after it's cooked. Step two, use MyFitnessPal correctly. So we're not just logging food, guys, we're tracking our numbers. And that's why none of you guys, I don't think, have had the problem maybe you have. But in the past, when a lot of when a lot of people might say to me like, "Hey, I'm not sure why I'm not losing weight. I'm not sure why this is happening." I'm like, "Are you tracking everything?" Right? Like when you track everything, you're not leaving any space in to not see results. You know what I'm saying? You're guaranteeing you're gonna see results. When you track everything spot on, you're gonna see results. There's no questions asked. Um, you guys don't have to do it, but it used to be free and now you gotta pay for it. I pay for the $80 a year for MyFitnessPal. Makes life easier. I'm all about investing in things that are gonna make my life easier. So I pay for the paid version. I scan my food when I can. It's very easy. Again, you don't have to, but it does make life a little easier. Always double check the serving size, right? This goes for on MyFitnessPal and also obviously the recommended serving size where you're tracking. If you're using 2 servings, track that on MyFitnessPal, but we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot by not doing that, right? So just really make sure we're tracking the right foods and the right amount, and then obviously on MyFitnessPal too. Sometimes I might say 1 cup and then you're measuring out half a cup, right? So like a lot of times with like blueberries or strawberries or stuff like that, it'll say 1 cup and I'm like, no, I'm only having half a cup, so I'll change it. And then make sure the entries are always accurate, right? So you could double check if needed, but over just making sure it's spot on is going to help you that much more. It's one thing to track your food, it's another thing to make sure you're tracking it as correctly and as spot on as you can. That's going to be the major difference from seeing amazing results to seeing some results. Track as you go, not after, right? Don't wait until 9 p.m., the end of the day, guys, to track everything because you're going to forget. If you want to do it before, I always recommend you track your food before the start of the day. So this way it's like you know exactly what you're eating. If you have something else, you can throw it in, or as you go, right? So you could do it as you eat something, track it, but obviously we always want to plan ahead of time. So it's like I think it was Justin who obviously just left, but he posted in the Facebook group. He hit me up. He's like, "Yeah, I don't have any carbohydrates left. What should I do?" But I'm sure we've all been there. I've been there, and we always want to make sure we're like paying attention to that because there's been times where my carbohydrates were super low. I used all of them for breakfast, and I was like, shit, now I gotta go all day with no carbohydrates. So it's really make sure we're not just tracking, but we're being mindful. Like, hey, this is a lot of fat, so this is going to be using a lot of my fats. Am I okay with that? Do I need more fats? Right? Before, during each meal, and then, like I said, log your day in advance. Next, plan ahead and pre-track your day. So it's kind of really going a step deeper, but like know your meals ahead of time, guys, right? I'm spending more time on this because this is one of the best ways you could set yourself up for success. You plan ahead, you weigh it out before you know the amounts, then it's just about execution, right? Enter your core meals on MyFitnessPal. So like what I usually do, guys, there's not every day, but there's a lot of days where I know exactly what I'm eating the next day. I'll plan it the night before just so I know, and it's one less thing to worry about. Adjusting your snacks and extras around that, but overall, you always want to try to be one step ahead. It's not always going to happen, and that's okay. But if we could be one step ahead, we'll be that much more set up for success. So the more you could track, the sooner you can, the better you'll be. This way, you leave no space to it's 10 o'clock and you still need 100 grams of protein. It's 10 o'clock, you still need 50 grams of protein. And I see KJ's face. He's like, yep, I've been there, done that. And I'll tell you guys this, like I've made all these mistakes. I only started consistently tracking my food like 5, 6 years ago. And just like you guys, right? It takes time to get used to it. But once you got it, it's just about consistency, right? Following through. Now, this is something I've told KJ, I've told probably all you guys. But and whether you're on this call live with us or you're watching on the replay, right? I constantly say this. Once you hit one solid day and your macros are so close, your calories are close, I always say, do it again, right? Do the same thing every day. If you did it once, you could do it again. So repeat what works. You got get your meals that hit your macros and taste good, right? Or maybe just hit your macros if you're like me and you don't care too much about the taste all the time. Then just make sure you stay on point. Save them in my Fitness Pals meals. So this way, if you have the same thing often, like KJ does or Declan, or probably Nick too, but all you guys, you could just save it and then it's already saved. You don't gotta go through the trouble of tracking again. You just press save the meals button and could repeat it, prep them ahead for the week, and then consistency beats variety when results matter. But so it comes down, it's like I'm not saying stay away from trying new foods and trying new things, but I am saying that consistency is key. Right, so what that means is like we're not changing workouts every week for a reason because we want to get good at them with consistency. Nutrition's the same way, but sometimes you want to eat a lot of the same foods because that's what gets results. Now, we always want to focus on protein, right? It tends to be sometimes the hardest macro to hit and the easiest to neglect. I'm sure we all know that. Oftentimes it's easy to get your carbs and fats, right? We know pastas, breads, uh, if sweets, if you like sweets, like it's easy to get your carbs and fats. So we just want to focus around protein, have protein in every meal, track it first, and build your meals around that. So we should never have a meal without protein, right? Unless like you're like Al and you're doing marathons, and then you just want your carbohydrates before, and like then I'm gonna focus on that. But we always want to. For fat loss and muscle gain, we always want to focus on protein. That's going to help us rebuild our muscle, stay full, and don't, obviously as we build muscle, metabolism's going faster to burn more calories throughout the day. So get that protein in, but it's essential for your metabolism, for muscle growth, muscle repair, and staying full. Don't obsess over perfection, right? So this is going to be huge for a lot of you guys because oftentimes we try to be perfect and it's not about being perfect. Some days it might be, but if you're 7 grams off on carbs, it's not ruining your progress, I promise you. But if you're hitting your targets within 5 to 10 grams daily, that's more than enough. But I'm not saying purposely be 10 grams short on your protein every day, but if it's 5, 6, 7 grams off, well, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, it's not going to ruin it, right? It's all about progress, not being obsessed with trying to be perfect, because we're going to spend a lot of time and energy on that when we could be spending more time seeing results by just staying consistent, doing the best we can. Batch cook and weigh after, right? Cook in bulk, guys. So I know KJ does this. I think for all you guys probably do this, I imagine. But I tend to do this most of the time. Usually when I make like a protein, when I do cook, it might be, for a few days, for 2, 3, 4 days, depending how much I make. But cook in bulk, weigh out the total cooked weight, and you could divide it into servings, right? So if it's, let's say it's you make 10 ounces or 12 ounces, divide into as many servings as you need. It makes you hitting your numbers that much easier as well as like less stress. When you're prepared, it's one less thing to worry about. I constantly tell you guys how every week I do my content on Sunday. No matter how I feel, I've been doing it for years. I do that not because I have to, but because it makes my life that much easier. And I spend a few hours batching my content. It's that much easier to get that much content out. If I'm not, I'm gonna be all over the place, doing half-ass content, probably missing some days, and that's not something I do. Mistakes to avoid: eyeballing your servings, right? Uh, no one should be doing that. I don't do that. I know there might be people who do it, but they've been also weighing out their foods for 20 years. Um, I've only been at it for 5, 6 years, so we shouldn't be eyeballing our servings. Try not to forget oil, sauces, and drinks, right? Um, like even this hydration drink is 5 calories. I'm not saying you got to track that, but obviously, if we go 20, 30 calories, we do want to track it. It does make a difference. If we're having 2 or 3 drinks that have 20, 30 calories, it does add up. Tracking raw meat but weighing it cooked. So again, let's make sure we track the cooked meat as well as weighing it, and then logging restaurant food exactly. So you don't gotta be perfect with this, but we do want to try to, guesstimate, which is obviously go out. Maybe it's like a small restaurant. Just it's better to track than not track. I made this mistake in the past. Um, when I do eat out, obviously I try to go to like chain restaurants and shit like that. However, if not, but I do the best I can with what I'm getting and I track it as I go. Now, we do flexible dieting for a reason, right? We do flexible dieting for a reason, guys. And the reason is that we track it so we're actually able to fit it in and not feel guilty and still enjoy our favorite foods. So if you want chocolate, beer, just examples, track it, include it in your day and adjust around it. So if you have, slice of pizza, you have a few beers, you have chocolate, candy, whatever it might be, that's fine. But understand that's going to be less carbs and fats for the rest of the day, and that's okay. You just got to track it and plan around it. It's all about having that balance, guys, to enjoy life and just having it fit into your goals so you could see results. You don't have to feel restricted and you could feel good, like, hey, I'm enjoying myself, but I'm not going crazy, but I'm still going to see results at the end of the day. A lot of people think they have to either give it up completely or that's when binge eating happens, right? And that's why we don't do meal plans, so we could actually enjoy our favorite foods, have that balance, and not have to follow a meal plan for the rest of our life. Examples to track: cooking oils, right? So 1 tablespoon of olive oil is 14 grams fat. So we want to track it, make sure it's obviously matching the bottle. Um, Weighing grams for like butter, avocado oil, sauces and dressings, right? It usually tells you, just gotta weigh it out. So most sauces I usually use tablespoons. Um, watching the fat intake on some sauces, and then again scan a barcode or just type it in. And then when you snack, I know KJ used to snack a lot, and I kept telling him, KJ, stop snacking, or if you are gonna snack, track it. Um, so whether it's like cheese, peanut butter, chips, right, all that counts because it does add up. A lot of people don't see results, especially with weight loss, because they're snacking too much and they don't think they're snacking that much. Oh, the most common one, guys, is you should just have nuts. Nuts are healthy, right? And like it's true, like nuts are healthy, but they're also high in fats and calories. So most people underestimate that, like let's say mixed nuts, a typical serving is like usually like 20 to 28 nuts. And if you're having 2, 3 handfuls, that's going to be more than that. And it's going to add up fast with calories. Repeat the meals that work, guys, right? Hit your macros, taste good. Protein heavy meals, grilled chicken, jasmine rice, avocado, all the vegetables, right? If you want to get some extra fat in there, avocado. Breakfast option, you guys know I love eggs, egg whites, toast and fruit, right? And then high carbs post workouts. If you want to have protein shake, you could have cream of rice, bananas, right? Whatever you guys enjoy, but save the meals in MyFitnessPal, like I said before, and you use less thinking is more consistency. Now, if you're off at night, here's how you could adjust. If you're low on protein, Greek yogurt, protein shake, tuna pouch, right? Low carbs and low fats. I'm not saying you got to use these, but these are some great examples. If you need extra protein, oftentimes what I'll do is usually a protein shake, 1 or 2 scoops if needed. Right now I'm cutting, so I always literally the last meal that I just had was 1 scoop protein to hit my protein intake. If you're low on carbs, rice cakes, oats, bananas, different types of fruit. Low on fats, almonds, peanut butter, olive oil, drizzle on your food a little bit. But ideally, we want to aim for, you know, the depending what we need, we want to aim for that specific food, right? So like there's when I was bulking and I was eating a shit ton of carbohydrates, guys, rice is good, but when you're eating 2 to 2.5 cups of white rice, that's literally the whole plate is filled with straight rice. That shit is not easy. And then final reminder, guys, right? Show up consistently. You don't need to be perfect. One day isn't going to ruin your progress. Quitting does. A lot of people get impatient. They get frustrated, and that's what holds them back. But don't try to be perfect. Just keep showing up another day, right? Track with intention and trust the process. This one is huge. Trust the process and remember that results come from what you do most of the time, not once in a while. So, I'll be honest with you guys, this weekend I'm going out, gonna enjoy myself. I'm going out Friday with my friend to a concert, gonna have a few drinks, probably have some good food. It's not gonna ruin everything because I'm gonna get back on track the next day. Balance is key. And then Q&A, guys. Any questions on anything at all? Uh, I was sure if you're gonna say something, KJ. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. My man Nick's just happy. He's just enjoying the vibes. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying the vibe, man, but like I don't know if I should even say anything. Like all this stuff you're saying not to do, I pretty much do.
Well, let's go back to that and let's talk about it, bro. So what would you say that is?
I don't weigh my food. I don't weigh I never weighed it. Um I feel like I'm kind of in a different situation. I just know I need a ton of calories, right? So like I found, my 3 meals a day that work for me really well, that like hit my macros. So like that's what I eat every day. Right. It's just easier for me.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you know it hits your macros?
Because I know what 6 ounces of chicken looks like, right? I mean, and typically I'm eating more than that because I know more is not going to hurt me for my situation, right? So I'm putting six ounces in and I'm really eating 8, right? So I know if I eat the same thing every day, I'm at least hitting the macros I need plus more.
Yeah.
Um, my days are very busy where I don't have time to sit down and input all my stuff. So I put everything in of an evening, right? Because I got multiple phones. I don't keep my personal phone on me when I'm at work because I don't use it, right? My other phone, I'm on it all day. So, like, I mean, it happens. It happens daily for me.
So here's what I'll say. For anyone watching on replay, Nick's goes weight gain and muscle gain. So for Nick, he gained what 40 pounds, 50 pounds,
50 pounds right now.
50 pounds, and then he gained about 35 to 40 pounds in just a few months. So Nick could get away with it. Obviously, it's working. So obviously, in that case, I'm not going to say not to. When it comes to fat loss slash weight loss for most people, right, we're going to need to track. Nick, I'm not going to say anything, but if it gets to a point, well, if it got to a point, I should say, well, we won't see results, and it's like, all right, then we need to fix something. But obviously, it's working. I know KJ's goal is muscle gain. So KJ, I know you're probably hating Nick right now, but your body's a little different, so we do need to track everything. To really gain that muscle. Not
No,
everyone.
I used to be in that. I mean, I used to be in that boat, and the only reason I got out of that was because I guess at some point my metabolism slowed down. It's all a body thing. Nothing to do with any training or anything. It was just my body just wouldn't. It probably didn't help that I taught aerobics, but I gaining weight had been an issue for me. I think up until like maybe my mid 30s, maybe. Then at that point, like sometimes what I would eat would stick. I'm like, oh, it doesn't just go away when I walk outside anymore. So I get it. I mean, and most of the trainers that I had, like, that I met like within the military and all that kind of stuff that I would kind of work with and just, hey, can you just help me with this? They would always tell me what you're probably telling Nick, which is just eat, bro. Like we just yeah. Because I think my macros was like I think they wanted. I think I was naturally eating like 2,000, and they wanted me to eat 4,000. And so it was like so did that. So all my trainers were like, just eat, bro, eat. Like just eat, and we'll regulate it once you get to a point to where you're overweight or like that. But they were like, just consume food. It's basically was my you know my rule of thumb. So I totally get it. So yeah, it can be a lot, but hey, you're getting that protein in, so.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. But if Nick was still at, his 10 pounds over his starting weight 6, 7 months later, I'd be like, all right, Nick, like, let's sit down and figure this out, bro. But he put on all that weight, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Nick's one of the few people because I can't even do that. Like I need to track my food or else it all goes to shit. So Nick, you got it, bro. No
Well, I
complaint
feel
there.
like once I hit the, get 5 pounds more, because like I'm not gonna lie, bro, I feel like I'm really big right now. This is, I mean, I've only been bigger than this once in my life, and that was like when I was in active duty, and 190 is massive for me. You know what I mean? So like I'm already like, okay, so like once I get back on my mountain bike here in the next month or whatever, like I already know I'm gonna have to dial it in more because it's not gonna be the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And well, when we get there, we'll obviously talk about it and help you work around a busy schedule and really find time to do that. But for now, just we'll keep trying to pack on as much size and food as we can. And when we get there, you know, we'll worry about then. Until then, just keep going, bro. Keep going. And then, David, I see you, bro. Um, do you have any? You actually just came at the end as we were finishing it, but the replay is going to be posted. Do you have any questions or anything I could help you with at all?
As of now, can you guys hear me? Just making sure.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, as of now, no, I'll, see the video once you post